You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, in exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society.
Where you been? You been ducked off for a minute. They don't know I've been depressed, but you know I'm in it. I never thought I was enough, so I was finished. Had to really talk to God and I had to handle life's hard test, hard stress, feeling a complete mess, really getting better. And anything they say don't matter, cause I got my bread up. I really got my faith up, forgot the insecurities, I had to pick my head up. And all my friends gone, so I'm still like yellow. Getting through these long nights, screaming yellow.
Well, hello everyone and welcome in. My goodness, we have got a new program here tonight on YouTube. We have got After the Storm. We have got our good friend DELON and GAIL. They're coming in tonight, and we're so glad to have them with us. They're coming in from Houston, Texas. So we're looking forward to the program. So let's get them going here tonight. You guys are on with us. So what do you think, girls? What do you think of coming on YouTube? You're on right now.
Oh, I love it. Well, first I want to say hi, everybody, and hi, Rick, hi, Gail.
Hello.
Out there and on the phones and Six Screens and YouTube. Just want to say hello to everybody.
Well, there you go. So I'm going to cut out of here, and then I'm going to let you guys do your thing. So looking forward to your program tonight. So keep up the good work. You guys are looking great, and we're looking forward to the program. So go ahead. I'm going to cut out of here right now, and you guys can take this over. All right, hold on. Let me just get this. Let me just see what's going on here. Stop cam. Okay. All right. There you go.
All right.
Okay.
Take it away, Rick. We'll take it off your hands. All right.
And do you realize it's almost our 1-year anniversary? So this is kind of interesting timing that we're starting this new platform.
It is absolutely. It's like right on time too.
Yeah.
Right on time. Hey, happy anniversary to us. Happy early anniversary to us, right?
Right.
And of course to everybody that listens in and that tunes in, of course. Thank you. So, and Gail, you look beautiful as always, as you just wake up that way, first of all. So I'm sure everybody else will agree. She always looks so gorgeous. I always tell her all the time.
You do too. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you. I do have a guest next to me, Gail, but so you know who it is. So maybe if you like to, before we even jump into it, but maybe you'd like to have the honors of at least letting them know maybe kind of who we have tonight. That'd be good. So I won't have the pleasure of introducing our guest tonight. I'm so excited, you guys. You guys are going to be so excited too. Just to hear from our guest. I know Gail and I, we're super excited. He's excited, probably super nervous. So I'll just kind of let Gail kind of get into that so that I don't spill too many of the beans. So Gail, I'll let you go ahead and take that.
Is your guest sitting next to you?
Yes.
Does your husband know that?
Right. I know, right? He does not know. He is not aware.
Well,
No.
we have heard DELON speak many times about her husband, Ken, and he's our special guest tonight. We're going to hear about DELON's experience from his vantage point. And so there he is. Hi, Ken.
Hi.
Thanks for being on the show with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Is it your pleasure or your pressure?
Right. I'm sure his heart is racing, right? It's probably about to just burst out of his shirt. Poor thing.
Well, we are so excited to hear your viewpoint of what DELON went through. You know, we've heard her viewpoint, but now we're ready to hear yours. So, are you ready?
All right. Fire at me.
Well, welcome, Ken. Take it away.
So, Ken, maybe just tell them a little bit about yourself, you know, where you're from, you know, where you grew up a little bit. Just tell them a little bit about yourself first.
Well, I'm from Louisiana. And You exact like where I grew up, different places.
Yeah, you could tell them. Yeah.
Mamu, Kinder, Lake Charles,
So
and been many places in East Coast, Midwest, New
mhm.
Mexico, here and there.
And in Ken's family, so they're like a family of musicians, if you will. Um, so Ken has a first cousin. Don't know if you're into music. If you've never heard of Zydeco, maybe look it up. I'll drop it. Well, in here I'm dropping it in the chat. I'm gonna bring up the other chat too, Gail, in just a second. So you guys, if I
Okay.
get a little silent, please forgive me. I'm gonna bring up the other chat because I didn't do that. Sorry about that. Let me do that real quick.
So we can't see the chat from the other studio, right?
Right. I'm bringing
Okay.
it up now. I'm going to
Okay.
pull it out. You know what? One second. You know what? Okay, there we go. That way I don't echo. Okay, there
Okay.
we go. Now that's perfect, right? You guys
No
can
echo.
see it.
Sounds good.
So I
Hmm.
have both up so I can kind of go between both of them. So Bazadico is um, it's music. It's a form of music that they listen to in Louisiana. So for you, everybody out there that loves Cajun food, here's your guy. He loves to cook. Bazadico is a form of music, really upbeat. But they do sing slow songs too, but it's really upbeat. You can dance and shake your thing, move your thing to the Zydeco music. So get it when you get a chance. Take a look at it. I'll drop his cousin. His name is Gino Delafosse. He's a big Zydeco artist out in Louisiana. So Ken loves to go and watch his first cousin perform. He loves that, and so maybe one day Ken would be up there playing. I did buy Ken a an accordion for our anniversary. He got me a violin. I got him an accordion. So maybe one day he'll be up there and play with his cousin one day. So I'll drop that in the chat for you guys. But just to kind of give you a little history of that, Ken loves to cook. He loves Cajun food, and that Louisiana spice is all things nice. Like,
Well, that's what you send most people.
it's so good.
We call it Cajun Creole.
Yeah, Cajun Creole. Yeah, Creole
Okay.
food. Creole
Yeah.
food. Yes, yes. Creole
Okay.
food. So one thing I like to do, I like to kind of just start off by, I'm gonna put this in there real quick. One thing I like to kind of start off by asking you, Ken, we'll just kind of jump right into it.
Yeah.
Actually, because people really want to hear. They've heard my story. Now they get a chance to hear the other end of the spectrum because this is something that we often um, hear. Well, we don't really hear about this part of it about um, as far as someone like me being on here and they get to hear from my spouse live. We hear stories of maybe people's spouse says, maybe what they said they went through, things like that from a spouse they once were married to. But now we actually have my husband on live. So, Ken, when we first met, and I told you that I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, um, how did you feel? I mean, did you think anything about that? When I told you I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, I wanted you to try to get me to join in, and if we'd be on the corner distributing literature.
Oh, wait, you
Um,
wondered if I would.
Yeah, I
Oh, okay. I
wondered.
thought you
Yeah.
said you wanted me. Okay,
No,
you
I didn't
wondered.
want
Okay.
you. I wondered.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
I knew, I'd been introduced to some people that wasn't Jehovah Witnesses, and I didn't too much care for the fact that it was kind of secluding you away from like the world. Because I feel, you live in the world, so you need to kind of you associate with those people too.
Mhm.
And what I didn't like, one thing, if you get disfellowship, you couldn't speak with someone. To me, it was like tearing families down. Um, so yeah, I don't like the fact about you confessing your sins to the so-called elders.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, what made them more? Why did you need to confess something to them? What gave them that privilege? I was raised Roman Catholic, I don't participate in it anymore. But one thing I've always had a problem to me of calling someone father, because I just remember reading or hearing call no man father,
Right.
And what did I need to do to go to a man and confess my sins to? Why can't I just do it directly to my creator,
Right. Exactly, which
So
makes sense. That's right. That makes sense. So when we first started dating and I told you that I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, um, I guess it was there anything about that that made you not want to date me because I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses?
well, I was okay with it as long as I wouldn't be forced to engage in it,
Because
or as long as it didn't come to a point where it's causing a lot of family problems.
mhm. Because as you know, um, in the Jehovah Witness community, in their religion and that organization, you don't date unless unless they're baptized, but they have to be a baptized witness first of all. So being that you were not one of Jehovah's Witnesses, I was not even supposed to be dating you at all, period. Right. So just even be out on a date with you was a violation in itself from the very beginning. So, it's good to know, how you felt and how you thought about that because you didn't allow me telling you that just because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you didn't allow that to keep you from wanting to get to know me. In other words, and I find that to be good because you could have. That's always a fear of ours. Like I'm someone I never wanted to marry a man that was one of Jehovah's Witnesses for several reasons. Because of, you know, I knew in my mind, I knew that I wasn't. I just, I knew I didn't care much for the religion, even though I was born and raised. But I knew there was still something in me that I didn't want to be there. Although I stayed all them years, but I knew there was something in me I just didn't want to be there. So I didn't want to marry a Jehovah Witness man because I didn't want him telling me my kids couldn't go to prom or they couldn't go to football games. They couldn't play sports. I just didn't want and a brother to tell me my kids couldn't do those things or that I couldn't do those things or I couldn't go to a concert. So I was never interested in marrying one of a man from the Kingdom Hall. Um, as I was growing up. So as we continued to date, um, we got to know each other, and one thing led to another. We got engaged, then we get married. Well, before we got married, I let you know that I was going to have to talk to the brothers. I let you know a lot of things about our faith, a lot of my journey, a lot of the history. But I also let you know that I was going to have to talk to the brothers at the Kingdom Hall because of having sex before marriage. Right? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, and before I ever even went to the brothers, do you remember what you said to me kind of when I told you?
Well, yeah, I had a problem with that. Why would you be going to talk to some old men about your sexual life? Um, and I said, well, I'd like to talk to them about what they have been engaged in. So
I'm
yeah.
sorry, but that just tickles me. I mean, because he did really say that. I even couldn't remember everything he said, but he really did say. And I should have let him do it. I should have let
So,
him do
so
that.
did you want to go to the meeting with her? Did you try to stop her or try to go with her?
Well, I told her I didn't think it was a wise idea. I wasn't in agreeing with it, and so she didn't go. I thought it was weird sounding to me, like who are these guys? And I'm sure if I dig a little bit into them, I could find so much stuff. And what allows them to be knowing all this information.
Right.
They don't have your passage to the kingdom. They can't put you in the kingdom, nor can they take you out of it. So I thought it was a
Exactly.
waste of time.
And
Exactly.
that sounds so strange to us, doesn't it, Delon? Because we
Yes.
were raised knowing that it is their business, right?
Right.
what we do is their business, because that was Jehovah's direction. We were supposed to go through them to get ultimate forgiveness. You
Mhm.
know, even though Jehovah forgives you, forgiveness comes through them. It's I can't believe that. Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, I can't believe we used to think like that.
Right.
Yeah, we knew something was off, and now that we're off, it's like, wow, how did I allow myself to go there? So, but
Right.
anyway,
Exactly.
I
No,
mean,
exactly. That really is true because um growing up, we never saw anything wrong with it. I know inside of me, I kept making it. I may have felt a little something. I thought, I actually did, but I kept making excuses for it. Right? I would make excuses for why we have to do it. Oh, it's how Jehovah cleans out, keep his congregation clean. This is how he keep each kingdom hall clean. And when he's cleaning out congregations, this is also one of the main ways that he does it.
yeah,
Instead of doing things that one we have no business, but this is how he cleans house. In other
yeah,
words.
yeah.
Mhm.
It was an obligation. And something you said just now just reminded me of my committee meeting in 2017. The second time I was asked to leave the room, something was tugging at me like, leave, get out of here, or
Yeah.
don't say another word, zip it, because they needed more clarification, right? And something was like, don't say another word, get out of here. But my purse was in the room, so I couldn't leave. I
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
leave.
Yeah, because they make you sit in the hallway or what.
In the auditorium, yeah,
Mhm.
while they're in that back room, but while they're deliberating. So,
And
but I,
going
I
to
was- thought
Jehovah.
it was strange that I waited so long to go see them, to now it's like, leave. I thought this is what I'm supposed to be here doing, is confessing, and something was tugging at me to just leave or just not say another word. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That was there for a reason.
for a
We
reason.
we may not have just, known it at that time because we only knew what we knew. We were raised in this faith, and we thought that what we were taught was right.
Was
So
the right thing.
we just really had no idea, even though our gut may have told us something different, but we thought we would be defying what we were taught. And
Yeah.
discussions for doing that. I
That's
mean,
the perfect word. We didn't wanna be in defiance.
no.
Matter of fact, that's the whole reason we went, because we were loyal, but anyway.
Yep. Oh my goodness, that made me think of that song, like Loyal Love. And now I just want to take that page, just rip it on up. I have no loyal love for you guys, never again. But yeah, and that is true. And so you guys, my husband, he when he told me that, I started to think because at first, even though in the pit of my stomach, there was something in me that I knew, like I couldn't, even doing Bible studies, I couldn't talk to anyone about the 144,000. I just didn't believe in a lot of the things that we were taught. Um, but when he made that comment and he told me he had an issue with me going talk to three men about because he told me, he said, well, wait, I have an issue with my wife going talk to three men about her sexual activity. And, at first I didn't think about it. Now, I'm not going to lie. I never gave thought to talking to three men. Now, I know I've always felt uncomfortable and it was humiliating and I hated it. But I mean, as far as giving thought, like just serious, deep thought to the fact that, you know what? Oh, yeah, I am, going back there talking to three men alone. It doesn't matter alone or not. I'm going to talk to three men about my sexual activity, things that I've done. That's none of their business. And when he said that, it took me a moment to process it, but I was like, you know what? You're right. I never thought of it. I should not be talking to them about my sexual activity. And why would they even want to know about what I'm doing sexually? That has nothing to do with them. However, I was raised in this cult and in this faith, um, in this non-truth. And I still, even after my husband, he tried to tell me several times not to go.
Wow.
He tried to tell me several times not to do it, not to go, because he had an issue with that. Um, and my mom, who she died as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. She had even made a comment to me. She was like, "Just don't go talk to him." But
Because you were married by then, right?
I was married. Yep, I
Yeah.
was married because I told them I had called one of the brothers and I told him that I needed to talk to them, but I was not going to talk to them until after I got married because by this time now we're living together, and I mean we're not going to stop whatever we're doing because we're just not going to stop. This is my fiance, and this is just what it is. So no need of me talking to you now because it's not going to change anything, right? So,
Yeah.
so fast forward, we get married about 2 months later. Um, Actually, the delay wasn't on my part; it was actually on their part. They kept pushing the meeting off because
Mm-hmm.
they were so busy. They had so many things, going on coming up, so they kept pushing it off. So my meeting ended up being about 2 months later. Um, and I went, and that night, oh my goodness, I'll never forget that night. I didn't want to have the meeting. I knew. I just had this feeling. I knew I was going to be disfellowship because they're going to say I knew better, and not only that, but they're going to say, well, they went to Jehovah, in prayer, and of course he says yada yada. But anyway, I knew I shouldn't have went once, but it was once I was there. When I really on the inside, I was like, you know what, he was right. He told me not to come, and I just shouldn't have went. And he didn't come with me. But I think he offered. Didn't you offer to come with me that night, Ken? I think you did. Do you remember?
No, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember that part, but I think he did. But I just honestly cannot remember that part. But I go and I talk to the brothers, and of course it took hours. It took about 2 hours to go through all of which was just to say I had sex before marriage. But it took 2 hours because, they drill you. They want to know everything. This is a man I was having sex with. This is just him right here. They met him. He actually came to visit with me at the Kingdom Hall, even though he goes somewhere else. But he came to visit with me. So he even went to, actually, you know what? He went to an assembly with me one time. It was a convention. But we went one day and he went with me. So
Okay.
he came and visited with me. He's always very supportive of anything that I do. So he even came with me. Um, but anyway, so I went that evening to meet with the brothers. And again, I went through, my drill sergeants, they drilled me, took me through all the questioning and the humiliation, and, writing all their notes and all that stuff. And, just in the meantime of sitting there, I'm just thinking, gosh, I just shouldn't have came. I wish I
Mm-hmm.
listened to Ken, and I wish that I wouldn't have went. And
Wow.
I wish I even at that time had the strength and the courage, just like I would have walked out of anywhere else. I just wish that would have been that one time that I would have gotten up and walked out like I would do any other thing, but I didn't because I felt so obligated.
Right. Well,
And then
you didn't own your thinking at the time.
no, I did not.
That's why you didn't have your power. Your power was given away.
That's right.
So that's why you couldn't get up and walk away
Mhm.
until something sparked it to happen. I think the question that Ken proposed to you was the beginning, like the fuse on a bomb that he lit it right with that question, and that was the beginning. Was that little spark of a question, and then now you're in front of them and you're wondering, yeah, I should have listened to my husband.
Yep. I should have listened to my husband.
Hmm.
I just wish that I wouldn't have went. Um, and even more so, I felt even more humiliated because the man that they're asking me about is the man that one that I'm married to now. Also, he comes to visit, and they really liked him. They always talked to him when he came to visit. Um, but now when he comes, and when I think about it now, You think that they would even think the same way I'm thinking. The same man whose wife you sat in a room and you asked me all these questions about me and my husband is the same man that have to face you. Now he doesn't attend this religion. Now, why would you think that he's going to be comfortable with coming here, seeing your face again, knowing that when you look into his wife's face, that now you're going to be visualizing her perhaps having sex with me.
Right.
I mean, they don't even think like that. I mean, that's just the way I think about it. Do you
Yeah.
not think about the humiliation that you put the other person through that is a non-believer?
Yeah.
They don't. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they don't care. They say it's from Jehovah. No, it's
Right. So they see themselves above Ken.
right.
I
Exactly.
think that that's what it was,
Yep.
that they see themselves. So
Yep.
really, they're in between you and your husband. You and your husband are supposed to be one, right?
Hmm.
But they're there because he's not a witness. So they're the stand in. So therefore, you answer to them.
That's right. I answer to them. That's
Yeah.
right.
So they really look down on him and his authority and his headship as your husband.
That's right.
And to them, they had every right to ask all those questions.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's right. No, and great point, Gail. You're right. Like you said, they look down upon my husband's authority. That's exactly what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's a very great way of wording it. Um, Even more so for those that are listening in because we don't, I'm telling you, you don't think like that when you go because you think just the opposite.
Yeah.
Jehovah put them in place for you
Mhm.
to answer to.
Yeah.
And they are the mediators basically between you and Jehovah. They're your lifeline because Jehovah put them in place to shepherd the sheep,
Yeah. To
right?
me, that's a total disrespect for the marital arrangement.
It is a total,
Knowing that you were married, I didn't know they knew him. That's new to me. I didn't know they knew him. You
they
know,
do it. They
to
do.
now look into his face and well, we'll hear what happened next after. But if Ken came with you to the meetings from there then on, how can they look in his face?
Yep. Yep. Because he was coming with me. He would go like this Bible class on Sundays, and
Yeah.
then we would go to my meeting, or if our meeting was before, whichever way it was at the time. I think his Bible class was before I was at the time. But then he would still sometimes come to the meetings with me. Um, he may go to sleep in there, but he would still come, just to support me every now
Support.
and
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and
Deep down, they had to have known that was wrong. Deep down.
I mean, something they have to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think about the fact, what is this? This man he's not one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So his mindset is not the same as all the other elders in here. Even another brother, let's say if his wife cheated over him and he decided to stay with her, but she had to go before the elders, right, to tell what she did, her husband is gonna have some form of embarrassment, right? Because now not only do he know, but now so do the whole body of elders, because not just one or two of them saying three elders know, the three tell the entire body,
Yeah.
right? If I remember,
And the circuit overseer knows, and
and the
it goes
circle
on
of
up the line. Yeah.
it goes on up the line. And the file stayed in the file cabinet. So who knows if any of the um what was the brothers called underneath the elders, the minister, who knows if they access the files at any time to see what did DELON have to
Yeah.
talk to the brothers. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know when they would
That's
even say something.
true.
You never know.
But it's not unusual, because I have known of witness couples who got disfellowshipped after they got married, and that was like you knew automatically when a couple got disfellowshipped shortly after their marriage, you knew why.
Hmm.
So they're that's just their MO. They're used to doing that. But now the situation is a little different because your husband is not a witness and they actually don't know how a non-witness really thinks, and that he
Oh,
put that spark in you. They it doesn't resonate with them. All they know is that they are the authority over you, over the congregation.
hmm. And they never thought that way because when I went and met with them, not one time did they ever say, not one time, and I mean not one time did they ever even say, what does Ken say or how does Ken feel about you being here this evening talking to us? Not one time. Not
Yeah.
one time. You talk to my husband when he come. You laugh at it in his face when he come. You
Yeah.
say you're gonna invite him over, but not one time did you even stop to think how you could be stumbling him from bringing him into Jehovah's organization, Jehovah's house.
Mm-hmm.
Could that not? I mean, he wasn't going anyway, but I'm just saying, could that not have stumbled him from
From
coming
coming.
into his organization?
Absolutely. Yeah. But even if you were married to a witness and you go to the elders because you're having marital problems,
Hmm.
then it changes.
Right,
Did you talk to your husband first?
right,
You
right.
should talk to does your husband know you're talking to us?
Yeah,
It's such a double standard.
it is such a double standard. But if
Yeah.
he's not a witness, he it doesn't matter what he say.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he say. Under no circumstances, because it's all about what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are the head people in charge, if you will. Because again, it's they are the ones that's going to go to Jehovah and talk to Jehovah, pray to Jehovah, and they're going to get direction from Jehovah about
Yeah.
what's supposed to happen. Um, I mean, and that's sad, isn't that is it's a severe double standard,
Yeah.
Gail. It really is, and it's horrible. I know his cousin name is Dale. Sorry about his first cousin name is Dale, so I'm like gonna call you Dale, Gail. Sorry about that.
So how did the evening end or progress?
Ooh.
How did it end?
Oh, well, it took a while. I mean, definitely, I was there probably a total of 4 hours. It took about two to go through the questioning and all that, and then they actually had me out of the room um, while they deliberated and prayed and whatever else they were going through their notes and stuff. That took them definitely an hour, a little bit more than an hour. When they called me back in, they took me through some scriptures. They didn't just get right to it, but that took about another hour. So I was there about 4 hours that night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like on trial for sure,
Right.
but without a judge. I guess they were. I had three judges instead of one,
Yeah.
um, but took about 4 hours. And when they brought me back into the room and they went through all those scriptures and they, talked about me and then they talked about Candy passing away and um, they felt that I hadn't been the same since she passed away. Um,
Oh,
yeah, since she had passed away, they felt I hadn't been the same. Okay, whatever you say, but I'm just married. I mean, it's a good thing. Um, but they made a decision. Well, no, Jehovah made the decision to disfellowship me. So they say, let me make sure for anyone new listening, when I say that I'm just being sarcastic because the brothers say that it's Jehovah. Jehovah made the decision and they're just, telling me. So basically, but they made a decision to disfellowship me. And then I have to go home and now tell this to my husband, who now has to also go back to the Kingdom Hall when he comes to visit with me because I hadn't determined that it wasn't even in my head a consideration of leaving just yet. Right.
mm. Mhm. Okay.
So now I have to go home and tell him. Not only did I have to tell him, but then I had to tell my kids, my three kids. So that in itself, I had four people that I had to tell within my household. Um, and it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good for anybody. Me, them, nobody. Nobody. So when I told Ken what their decision was, of course he wasn't happy about that. Well, let me let him answer that for himself because I'm not used to him sitting right here, you guys. I'm so sorry. That's the point of having him here, right? I'm
Nah, I
so
let
sorry.
DELON have it.
I'm not used to him sitting right here. So when I came
Came
home
home. Mhm.
with you, the decision that the brothers made. How did that make you feel? And how did that make you feel about Jehovah's Witnesses? Did that change your way of thinking even more so about Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, I thought they didn't have the authority to disfellowship someone, and you know, it just that's why I always say I'd like to know what they have been involved in, and why they come to these conclusions. When I know with the disfellowship comes a separation that, what is it like? People can't speak to you or something, and you're like shunned away, like you had lepra or something.
Yep.
So, it was. I expected that of them. Some men, some guys. But my main thing was what gives them that authority. Who do they, you know, I'd want to go to God directly myself, to Yahweh, versus three older men or the elders,
Yeah.
Because they've been dealing with the children of Israel. I never known about the 70 elders disfellowshipping anybody at the congregation.
Right. Well, there they do. I mean, at the Kingdom Hall, they do. Let me ask you this. Because I did go back to some meetings even after I got this fellowship, Ken, and you came with me, but they couldn't speak to me, but they would speak to Ken.
So what that made me think that you can speak to me, but I've never been affiliated with your religion or anything. Nor do I believe in what you believe in. You're not gonna speak to your own that believe in what you believe in, and and just in a way of them trying to get me to lure me in. Then what next? Because I know I wasn't gonna be going to no three elders or what, however many.
Right.
No way.
Yep. And like you said, lure him right on in, and then what next?
Well, then the
What
problem
next?
that it caused, because my best friend's wife was a Jehovah Witness. So because my wife was disfellowship, now we could not go. I could go to the house. She could speak to me, but she couldn't speak to my wife, who was one of our own that believed in what she believed in. So we couldn't go there we couldn't go out and eat together. It was, I just said, well, y'all got some people telling you what you can do and what you can't do. And you adults.
And we still cannot.
This is a strange religion, I thought.
Yeah. And we still can't go eat together and none of that other stuff. I mean, he's still married to her and she still goes to the Kingdom Hall. But so his best friend, so we've never been on a couple date. I was only able to go to that house, which was before I got this fellowship. I don't even think I've been back, but I stayed in the car. I don't even know if I can go inside the house now, because we don't want to make any problems for his best friend. But I know for a fact we've never even been on a couple's date, because I got this fellowship after we got married. So we've never done anything together as a couple because she won't.
The weird thing about it is that another guy that I met through my friend, which is his friend, and we became real good friends at the time. We hit off real good. But they can go places with them because they're not Jehovah Witnesses. But we couldn't go because DELON was disfellowship. And I thought, well, if she was one of the flock, wouldn't you be trying to do all you can to bring her back into the fold and not make her feel secluded?
Right.
So it just didn't make sense at all, To me, it was breaking up of families and friendships.
That's right. And Ken, had you ever dated a girl that ever went to the Kingdom Hall before, or was I the first girl, that you had ever dated?
Not to my knowledge, unless someone just didn't tell me.
Just didn't tell you? That's possible. Yeah. So I was the first girl, basically, to your knowledge, that you dated that was a Jehovah's Witness. Now, you were willing to accept me being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and you were okay with that. there was nothing wrong with that. Where you go or in your faith or
No, my faith does not operate that way. Um, you know, Yahweh is the decider of all that. We don't operate that way because He will be the one decides who comes in, who stays, who don't stay. Not not on the so-called elders. And I looked at that religion and seen that they went into the Bible and picked up certain things, and even at times when some people did certain things with authority they were given, that was at a time and then. And those things have been fulfilled, but yet we're Johnny come late, some people trying to go back, and do some of the things and pick the things that they want to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing it all to the point.
That's right. Do you all in your faith, like where you go, do you all have do you all like disfellowship or do you all do like any shunning there
No,
or
of course not.
excommunicate your members, anything like that? No. So when you married me, did you still have to go and confess
We
to
don't confess to
anyone?
no man. No, we don't do that.
Okay. So you didn't even have to go and talk to anyone
No.
where you go and let
Mm-mm.
them know that you had sex with me before marriage, then correct?
Mm-mm. No, we don't have elders.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
No, that's good to know
yeah.
because here we were at a place is just I'm sorry, but born and raised, but now that I know better, I just still find it so amazing um how we operated, just how I actually thought that it was right, that I made excuses for why we had to do the things that we did. I don't know, and my heart goes out to those that had to go through this long before me. Maybe that had an abusive spouse. That was one of Jehovah Witnesses or that was not, or but that just was washed, that was taken through the ringer behind um doing whatever you did to get this. Well, we know it's typically always sex. 99, 90, 100% of the time is sex. They say bad business practices, but whatever, it's always sex that I know of. So, but being that you get disfellowship for that, but some people really go through the ringers with their spouses or with whomever they're with, married to, whatever. And it's sad because it's almost like you can't. What can you do? You don't feel you can do anything. Like now, I know better. Now I know what my options were then. I didn't know it then. But now I know what they were. You know what I mean? I didn't know it then.
Your thinking was on lease.
My thinking was on lease. It
You
was
leased it
a
out.
lockdown lease. I did. Somebody
Yeah,
had the deed to my home at the time, and it was not me. It was them.
right. And it's interesting if we have like Jehovah's Witnesses listening in to the way we think now,
Mhm.
they will actually think that the way we think now independently is
Yeah,
kind of off.
they'll think
They
it's
they
way
think,
off.
yeah, like wow, they're really lost, you know. And that's why they encourage people, that's why we're encouraged to marry within the Lord, within
Mhm,
their faith.
mhm.
Don't miss the meetings and having association that are just Jehovah's Witnesses. Why? Because of the hive mind thinking. Everybody thinks alike. No one is questioning it, like can question it. Wait a minute, that something doesn't sound right, right?
Right.
Everybody thinks the same, acts the same, does the same thing. No one questions it, right?
Mhm. That's
And so
right.
that's what happened. I was looking at the study article, the weekly brainwashing article, and it said it had a really paragraph that stood out to me. Do you mind if I read it? It's
Oh
really
no.
short.
Okay.
Okay, so this it's study article number 6. Do you trust in Jehovah's way of doing things? And paragraph 6 says Jehovah does not owe humans an explanation for his decisions. True, Jehovah did allow his servants in the past to express their concerns about decisions he made or was about to make, and occasionally he explained his decision. Nevertheless, Jehovah is not obliged to explain himself to us as our creator. He does not need our approval either before or after he acts. This is in the context of this article is about decisions made by the elders, but they're putting it on Jehovah. You
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
like Jehovah doesn't owe you any explanation. What
Exactly.
what the elders did, Jehovah doesn't owe you any explanation. So they put themselves on that level. Like if you're
Mhm.
questioning, well, why did the elders make that decision, or why did they disfellowship so and so, and now they flip it and now it's Jehovah's, right?
Right.
Jehovah's decision. You don't question it. He
That's
doesn't owe you an explanation. Therefore, they don't owe you an
they don't owe
explanation.
you
That
anything.
that stood out to me in this art. This whole article. I give it up to those people who do the weekly summary of this because I can't stomach reading it. You know, I just
Right.
skimmed through it really quickly, and that
Yep.
paragraph jumped out to me like he doesn't owe you an explanation.
No.
That's his decision. You go along with it. Fine.
And
End of end of story.
that's
No
it.
questions. Yeah.
And isn't it sarcastically funny in a sense how now the word defiant becomes not necessarily a different meaning, but it really does take on a different meaning. So at first, you're like defiant with them, but look at how defiant flips around on
Mm-hmm.
the opposite end of the spectrum. Um, when I think about me going, when I had to be disfellowship after I married Ken. So I'm defiant with, I was defying Jehovah, but I was really defying them. Who was I defying? Because they're
True.
the ones who was going to, I mean, I had to meet with you, but you said you went to prayer to Jehovah and Jehovah made the decision. But who was I really defying, you or Jehovah? Because I didn't hear Jehovah say anything. So,
Right.
so who was I defiant towards?
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know, it just took on a different meaning, if you will. Not meaning, but the people. It was a people swap. It was Jehovah or them. So it's never Jehovah. It's always them.
Yeah.
They make the rules. Jehovah didn't
Yeah.
make the rules. They made the rules. So and it just goes to show you because when I look at my husband, he has such a sweet soul. He has such a sweet heart. So that lets me know not only do Jehovah Witnesses or not only are Jehovah Witnesses sweet, there are a lot of sweet people in this world from,
Yeah.
as they would say, I'll use their words against them, all walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
But we as when we were Jehovah Witnesses, really you were shielded from all walks of life because we were so judgmental. We couldn't, like, I'm not supposed to be with him to this very day
Right.
because he's a non-believer. Well, in their eyes, he was a
In
non.
their eyes. Mm-hmm.
So really, so is it really all walks of life that are
True.
Jehovah's people? So it just I mean I could go circles. I'm trying not to say too much about it because I could keep going on and on and on about different little things, but I'm trying to stick to this one topic. But it's a little hard because there's so many things, their words I could use against them, even in this one conversation tonight about me marrying my husband. You know,
Yeah.
it's just not enough time to even do that. But just marrying him alone was an issue. So, um, so I like to ask you, Ken, down to this very day, with the Jehovah Witnesses doing that in their eyes, I'm disfellowshipped. Um, what do you have to say about where I am today versus where I was then, as far as with me no longer being one of Jehovah's Witnesses? Um, with the way my views changed
And waking up now.
and waking up,
Yeah.
no longer being one of
Have
Jehovah's
you seen a difference? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen a difference.
Witnesses.
Well, she gets to be who she is, and
That's right.
it's important, to be able to be who you are and not to try to be some programmed
Oh,
individual.
yes.
And that way. And I think she feels closer to Yahweh because she feels she can talk directly to him, or that he
Mhm.
hears her also without going through a mediator.
Absolutely. I absolutely. And I no longer feel that I no longer feel I like the way you worded it, Gail, because initially before the show, before it even started, I was thinking about how I felt and how I would like to share my feelings at the end of the show tonight.
Hmm.
But I was thinking about life after the storm because this is my life after
Hmm.
the storm, you guys. This is my life after the storm. Um, before um, before my storm ended, really my life was hell because of where I come from. I know some people may not had to have went through what some of us who um, were, and I guess some of us in their eyes, are still disfellowship. I don't still claim that, but I'm just saying, coming from them,
Right.
in their eyes, um, maybe some didn't have to go through that. So for those who did not, I can totally understand that. But for those of us that did, and some that are still about to go through that, um, it just made me stop and think about how I wanted to kind of wrap that up at the end of this show with my thoughts. So before my storm ended, honestly, I didn't think my storm would ever end. I just never thought my storm would ever end because there was always a storm brewing with me as a Jehovah's Witness. And Gail can kind of attest to what I'm saying because there was a time when I told Gail, this was after it was right before I was disfellowship. Was it right before I got disfellowship? Yeah, that last time
I
when I
think
told you I needed a break. Remember?
I was like, I've never heard it put like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it is a break. And that's why I love Saturday nights because I'm not stressing about, oh, meeting in the morning or
Yes.
Saturday mornings, getting up for service. My
Yeah.
life, I have my life back. Yeah.
You have your life back and you have your own mindset.
Yeah.
You really do no longer, for them. And it in wrapping this up, it was what Ken said. I was going to use a different way of wording it, but I'm going to use what he said basically. But I'll just say this word: robotic,
Okay.
because my life centered for all those years, my life centered around their life, about, well, not their life, my life, but it centered about what they had to say about how I lived my life. So basically I had no say so about my life. I was so programmed day in and day out. We all were, even if we don't want to admit to it, but we really were programmed, day in, day out. From reading the literature, from reading the yearbooks, everything from reading what was that book we used to read, you guys? The daily, not daily scriptures, but
Examining the scriptures. Yeah.
examining the scriptures daily.
Daily.
Just from even reading that, because it made me think about earlier today when I was thinking about the show tonight. I was thinking about how you all remember when they used to use this at the conventions and they would use it at the meetings, and you would hear this so much, that if you didn't, you may get stopped by guards. This may mean your life if you don't know what the examining what the daily scriptures was that morning. You could possibly lose your life because they would use, people from other countries. They would use that um, as an example, as a point keeper, if you will. That's what saved their life. Saved their
Yeah.
lives. Excuse me. So back to what I was saying. I was thinking about just being programmed, right? About being living such a robotic life. But now that once I got disfellowship this last time, And when Ken, before I got this fellowship, when he started, when what he said started waking me up, it just
Mm.
like a sleeping giant is what it did.
And I had a question on the timeline. So from the
Mm.
time that the announcement was made till the time you snapped out of it, you woke up, what time period was that? And how long ago was that?
Well, it wasn't right away. It wasn't right away. I wish that it was, because inside of me, I knew I didn't want to go back, but I still went back. It was, yeah, I think it was definitely for sure at least a year. Um, let's see. No, it was way longer than, no. I'm so sorry. Wait. No, we married in 2014, and I've only been back here for 3 years. So it's been within the last 3 years that I said, okay, no more. Am I gonna go back? Like never again.
So you were married about 4 years
Yeah.
with that struggle.
Yes,
Wow.
with that struggle.
Wow.
Because then I knew in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go back. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back one day. I'm gonna go back. Didn't know how I was gonna explain that to Ken. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he was definitely not gonna be happy about it. He would support me one way or the other, but I knew he was not gonna be happy about it, right? Um, but I knew in my mind I was gonna go back, and I did not want to go back. But I knew I was. I felt I had to. I was gonna lose my life. This meant, it meant my life. It meant my relationship with Jehovah. It meant me not having a guilty conscience. It meant me being mentally free, not my stomach not being in knots every time I heard all the birds chirping outside. When
Wow.
the, when
Wow.
the storm was coming. So,
Yeah.
and now my life after the storm, when I do, when a bad storm is coming and I hear all the birds chirping and they're on the wires, I no longer think about losing my life, that it's Armageddon coming. I'm going to lose my life, and not tell my brothers, not want to go talk to them about anything, about my kids or about anything. I no longer feel
Wow.
guilty anymore. My life after, there's no more storm brewing in my life. No more
That's
storm. This is
that's
my life
torture
after.
to be thinking like that. Yeah.
And guess
I'm
what?
glad you're free from it.
I am free from it.
Mhm.
Guess what? I married a non-believer, if you will. I married a non-believer, and we've been married for 8 years. We've been together going on 9, and been married
Wow.
almost 8 come June. So in 2 months. And he's not one of Jehovah Witnesses, but this is not supposed to be, because he doesn't serve Jehovah, right? So how could
Proves there is life after the storm.
there
That's
is
what it
life after
proves.
the storm?
Mhm.
There is life after the storm. And there can be, and there is, and there shall be a beautiful life for you. Don't believe that someone has to be one of Jehovah Witnesses in order for you to have a happy life or a happy marriage. That is not true. That is not true.
And you're living proof of that.
I'm living proof of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken, for being so supportive of DeLon, whatever decision she made, and being her rock.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Gail.
He's so shy. He's so nervous. Bless his heart. He's camera shy, you guys. So, but we have to get him to come back on again, right? Right, Ken?
Yeah, might get a little more rest.
Oh. Yeah, he
Yeah.
goes in early, you guys. Bless his heart. But no, really, just as a wife, not even a friend now as a wife. I really thank my husband for coming on, because just because he's my husband and we're comfortable with each other, it doesn't mean this is easy for him. This is not necessarily easy for him, to come on. He's not even a man of the camera. First of all, he's very reserved, very shy, and he likes to be in the background. So just to even be here to this very day on the camera this is new for him. But I thank you for coming on and sharing our experience, and even more so yours, coming from someone that was not and will never be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, but also sharing how you felt about me, when we first started dating, regardless of me being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, how you felt about me going and talk to 3 men about my activity, no matter what the activity was, but even more so something so intimate, something so personal.
Yeah.
Um, and then sticking with me through my journey with it, because honestly, some men that could run them away.
Yeah,
That in itself could scare them away and be like,
absolutely.
yeah, I don't want to be there. But he stuck through it all. And I appreciate him for doing it because he didn't have to. So, but thank you for
Mhm.
Yeah.
coming on with us tonight and allowing us
Thank
to hear
you.
your story
You're
and
welcome.
our story. Life after my storm. So after the
Well, I
storm.
thought I was gonna hear some drama, like, did you wanna knock him out next time you saw him? Like,
Oh yeah,
how
yeah.
dare
Let's
how
address
dare you?
that real quick. How do you want to go knock them out for what they did to your wife? How do
No,
you?
Yeah.
just I hope you guys get the word out more about what they are really about, you know. And it's just, you know, I look at some people. When you think about it, you come from a household with your parents all your life. Now, do you need three? You need some elders to be telling you how to deal with your creator. You know, can't you be one on one?
That's
And
right.
one, the separation. You know, all these rules that they have, and you to disown your kids if they get disfellowship. That
Yeah.
breaks up families. And that may be the most time, the most time when your kids really need you
Right.
or your family members. But now, when you can't talk to them because they've been disfellowship or you've been disfellowship, so I think that really can put a wedge between a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have one last question because I thought about this, Ken. I wanted to ask you this, but I was going to wait until this show, but I almost forgot to ask you. Had you um, had you ever heard of the word disfellowship before you married me? Before we started dating or even got together?
Mm,
As far as religion is
Um,
concerned, had you ever heard of that happening in a religion?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
even as a Catholic, I mean, their term is excommunication.
Yeah, I never known anybody to be excommunicated though. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, even the priests do all kinds of stuff and they still come back. So,
Yeah.
um,
I heard it's very rare, like,
yeah,
excommunication is very rare. And they have listed in Wikipedia who's been excommunicated. I think it's like 10 or 20 people over the last 50 years or something.
Oh,
They
right.
actually have their
right.
Right. That's why I like to say I've
Yeah.
never known anyone, you know.
That's probably happened every second. Somebody's calling, one of the brothers saying, "Hey, I need to talk to you." I mean, that amount is probably, and I don't mean that they're making that announcement, but I'm just saying it's probably that amount of people that's either texting or calling an elder saying, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something," and they're
Yeah.
going to be talked to. You know,
They've said in the magazines it's about 80,000 people a year. If I'm
ooh,
80,000 people a year. Yeah.
that's
I
hard.
think I remembered reading that somewhere. Somebody can correct me.
Yeah, but that's
Hmm.
almost about as many people that die from a cold. I mean, that is horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That's And I'm sure there is no other religion on the face of this earth that does that but them. As far as those numbers in droves, that's horrible. That is crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. Well, I do. I thank you, Ken, so much again for coming
Thank you.
on with us, and
Yeah.
thank you for opening up. I know this wasn't easy for you, but so many people, you get a chance to share this story with so many people here, because with us being raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, we didn't think that there was life after a storm, after our type of storm anyway, because we were taught this is something you just better not do. And you and I, we couldn't even exist together because Jehovah wouldn't even allow it to work. So again, thank you so much for being our guest and thank you for coming on. Thank you for opening up. We so appreciated having you here tonight. So again,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So we will let Gail take it away and introduce our next show. And
I
um,
think Rick is coming back in. Oh,
okay,
look,
I just saw you.
I didn't realize the time was up there, so we were on for an hour and 4 minutes. Awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome. Great first show. Thank you, DeLon. That was
Yes.
great.
Yes, I love this. I love the look, and I'm just glad about being here. That everyone on YouTube can see us now, so that's
Yeah.
really good. So I love that. And you guys can see our guests, as we have them on when they're here. So
Usually I'm in rollers, I'm in pajamas, I'm in my bed, and now I have to step it up.
no, you're so beautiful. You don't have to do anything at all.
Ah, all right.
So
Hi,
thank you
Rick.
all again, and stay tuned
Thank
for
you.
our next show. We definitely have a great new upcoming show in 2 weeks. So please make sure you're tuned in here. Tell your friends, your family members, get the word out. Come back, join us again. We'll be here in exactly 2 weeks, 2 Saturdays, and you will not want to miss our next new show. Okay. So thank you all, everybody.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Well, there you go, girls. My goodness, thank you very much for coming on and being live, your first YouTube program. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks with DeLon and GAIL. So by all means, stay with us. Well, don't you leave us now. We have got a pasta babe. She's coming on next. She's got a program called Healing After the Watchtower. So she'll be coming on next. And boy, we have got a great program. All the programs tonight. So wonderful to be able to have people come in. You can see them on YouTube. You're listening in on our radio network. We've got 3 different platforms we're broadcasting on. But you girls did good. Your retention rate was good. Now that's what we're looking for. That means people coming in and they stayed through the whole program. So that's what I look for here at the control panel, the 6 screens. So you guys are doing great. Keep waving that flag of victory. We'll see you in 2 weeks. So we're going to a pasta babe. My goodness. So a pasta babe, I know you're coming on next. So we're going to disconnect this program. You guys stay with us. Come back in. But did you want to say something? Go ahead.
This is Zachary.
Yes, Zach.
That show was excellent.
Did you like that
Thank
show,
you so
Zach?
much. Oh, yeah. DeLon, Gail, and Ken, thanks so much for that. That show, your program didn't answer questions, but it just told us so much of what we think, what I used to think about as an elder when I would see a sister who might get disfellowship because for the very same reason. And I realized when I would look at the situation that when she would bring her partner to the meeting, and if she was disfellowshipped, you would see that, the elders could speak to him and people could speak to him, but they couldn't speak to her. And it was one of those things that really bothered me to see. It really did bother me because this was so good. It was great to be able to see this and to be able to hear from Ken as a non-Jehovah's Witness, as an unbeliever who when he would come to the hall, they see him as a person of interest. They see him as a possible new Jehovah's Witness. This was excellent. I don't speak up like this too much, but this was excellent. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Zachary. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
the feedback. Wow.
Yeah, that melted my heart. It did. Thank you, Zach. Thank you.
Well,
and to hear some of the what Ken said about friends and what DeLon said about a witness. His friend is married to a witness, and he can talk to his friend and his friend's wife, but DeLon can't talk to them, and they can't talk to DeLon, and because they're already married, they can't get together as couples and go out somewhere. So much practical stuff there. It was excellent. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, wasn't that good to hear from Zachary coming in?
Yeah.
And I have to say too that Ken, you're a I know that as DeLon said, you're a little shy, but we certainly appreciate you coming on tonight. That's hard. I mean, I know it's hard, but you did a great job, Ken. We thank you very much. And I'll tell you what, enthusiasm is always good. And you guys, I'll tell you what, ever since you came on tonight, about an hour and 15 minutes ago, an hour and 13 minutes ago, but you're smiling. All of you guys are smiling, and that makes me so glad that you're doing that. That radiates confidence in people, and they're looking in tonight. And this is going to go on YouTube. It's now in live streaming, but when the live streaming stops, YouTube puts it up automatically. They upload it, so there'll be many people listening in. Great job, guys. Keep up the good work. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Hold on, Zach has something else to say. Go ahead, Zach.
I'm sorry. I did fail to say this. The questions that Gail asked were excellent too. It's like she was reading my mind.
Exactly. I'm thinking I'm going to make you part of the program. I mean, maybe we should get you in there. You, Ron, Gail, and Zachary. I mean, that's pretty good, you know.
And I can hear Zach asking those questions too.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
All right. See you in 2 weeks. Well, thank you, Zach, too, for coming in. All right. We're going to end this program right now, but stay with us. Apostle Babes coming in with a healing after the watchtower. So we'll be right back on YouTube. Give us about 10 minutes. We'll be right back. Thank you.